To score a student passage, simply log into Fluency Tutor, and from the Teacher Dashboard, click the View Students option. Once you click on View Students, you'll see all the students in this course. I have one student in this course. You'll see different information regarding the students, their name, their average Lexile score, average Fountas and Pinnell level, the average reading age of the books they've read, total time on task, total reading time, the number of passages read, and the average words correct per minute score. So once you land on the roster page, simply click on the student's name, and then you'll actually see another dashboard that includes a graph of their fluency level, their fluency score, their words correct per minute, and also date ranges here. You'll also see a list of activity, which includes both passages that you create or passages that are passages within Fluency Tutor. If a passage has an assessment, such as a comprehension assessment, you'll see the word assessment under the activity type as well. And student-led means that they've used the Fluency Tutor extension in a Google Doc or a web page to actually record some reading. You'll see that in some instances there's a white page with a green icon, which means that the student has recorded and submitted a passage. The gray background and the white page means that the passage hasn't been completed yet. And then the green background with white numbering is the number of words correct per minute. And it also tells you the percentage of words correct as well as the fluency score. So if I want to score a passage, I simply click on the score details and click Score this passage. Once I do that, I actually see what the student saw, and then I can actually go through and start scoring the passage. You'll notice that there is an option that says Select Scoring, so this lets you know that I have one scoring or one recorded passage here. It is a minute and 14 seconds long, and I can go in and start scoring the passage as it's read. You'll notice the words will change as I mouse over them, and that means that I can actually click on a word and actually give it any of the scores necessary. So I'm going to click the play button so I can hear the passage.
Grandpa Green. He was born a long time ago. There were no TVs then. He was on a farm. He had pigs and chicks and eggs. Then he got chicken pox.
I'm going to click on that word, and when I do that, it actually pauses the recording, and I can say that that was a hesitation, and I can also say that it was a self-correction.
He could not go to school, but he could read books. He read lots of books.
And I'm going to mark this as a hesitation here.
Yes.
And I'm going to mark that as a hesitation as well. I'm going to say that that was a mispronunciation there. I don't think he really read through
Girl.
the world.
But he wanted to learn about gardens. He went to the war, so he could not learn about gardens. But he met his wife in a little shop. They lived for years, and they were happy.
And that's the last word that the student read, so I'm going to click on this and go down to mark as last word, and that will allow me to figure out the reading rate from this passage based on the number of words read. So the words per minute were 73, and the words correct per minute were 72, with a 1 in 3 self-correction rate, a 97.78% words correct, and an error rate of 1 error to every 45 words. So it's just letting you have some basic information about that passage. And once I've completed it, I can click Save Scoring. And when I do, I can start to rate the student's expression. So I'm going to say that, there was occasional slips, somewhere between a 2 and a 3. And I think because it's the first one, I'm going to just mark it as a 2. I think that there was a mixture of run-ons and mid-sentence pauses, some choppiness, but reasonable stress and intonation, and occasional breaks in smoothness caused by difficulties with specific words and structures, and that I think there was an uneven mixture of fast and slow reading. So I'm going to click Next, and I can actually write some text in here to give back to the student as well. Great job. So I'm going to start with some warm text. Right, and then I can give some other information if I wanted to about a teaching point. And with this, I think the child did a great job with the decodable text. I really don't want to focus on anything because some of the words that were an issue aren't really appropriate for me to talk about explicit instruction at this point. So I'm just going to click Finish, and then that passage then gets added back to my graph here, and I can see the first score from April 11th to today, and I can see that on my first score, my fluency score was a 4, but today it's down to a 2.8. But my words correct per minute have increased over that time as well. So that information is now recorded and it's placed in my document. And I can actually go on and score additional passages. And eventually I can click on the export to Google Sheets. And what it's going to do is it's going to create a Google Sheet of my data just for this one student. So it actually goes through and will show you different data points regarding this passage. And in fact, all of this information will be imported into Aspen as well as a running record. So Fluency Tutor allows you to essentially go in and score the passages that your students have regarding their records of reading